welcome to a new edition of our show, Money Means Business. And as we always say, and I repeat that business means money. And not only business means money, stability, of course, makes that. And different situations lead to that. We had all experienced, and we are still experiencing, the COVID-19 pandemic repercussions. And we don't know how long it will just go on. And this affected worldwide economies, actually. And thank God to the management of our government, things just ran smoothly, and Egypt came almost unscathed of that. And we'll talk more about the situation here. We have with us our guest, Dr. Saeed Al-Khouli, Professor of Management at Ain Shams University, and also head of the Promotion Committee, the High Supreme Council of Universities. Welcome, sir, with us.
Yes.
Actually, there is a lot to talk about, and it's always a pleasure having you here. What's going on in, well, in Egypt, what's going on in the world, especially changes are very fast, one thing after the other. But before doing that, we're going for a short break, after we should be back and start our talk.
Sure.
Stay tuned to us, don't go away. We're back again to Money Means Business with our guest, Dr. Saeed Al-Khouli, Professor of Management at Ain Shams University, also head or chairman of the Promotion Committee at the High Supreme Council of Universities. Welcome again, sir.
Thank you.
Well, we know that a lot has been happening, and but first, we'll start by well, the different projects taking place, and foremost among which the tour of President Sisi today at the new administrative capital. There was a big tour by President Sisi to check upon the different projects in the new capital, and we'll just see a glimpse of that in the video. Yes, the tour here in the new administrative capital, the achievements and the projects there in the humongous new capital from which all the work will be governed. The new capital with the new achievements there. President Sisi today had a tour checking upon the different projects. And we're back again, and different projects are taking place, but mainly the new capital, which is a very important project itself, actually an achievement that has been actually criticized by the haters of any development.
Let me say, for a change,
Yes.
there is a resistant change.
Oh, yeah.
But we have an old saying where the tree which have orange or mango or any fruits, people start to throw it with a stone. Of course, as the strategy of President Sisi, as the leader of our country, and I believe he's the leader of the Arab nation now, he's doing what's right for the country, and he's doing what's right for the future of Egypt, and building the new capital in Egypt, where Cairo, it is very crowded right now, and he started with the infrastructure of roads in all over Cairo and in Sinai, and the focus now in the new capital of Egypt, new administrative capital in Egypt, where they move all the ministry over there, and there is several universities started in this academic year, and a lot of people already moved to the new capital of Egypt. I visited the new capital several times, and you cannot imagine the development. It's like a part of Europe or part of China or a part of the state where the infrastructure, it is really a good piece of art in terms of architecture.
Yes, built actually according to the highest standards and state-of-the-art standards worldwide, and probably other cities are following suit to be just example cities, also exemplary ones.
Absolutely, it's not only the new administrative capital, but there is a new Mansoura,
Yeah.
new Dumyat, new Asyut. There is a lot of new cities where attract a lot of population. Remember, the population in Egypt increase like by millions every year.
Yes.
And in this case, we have to build a new city, new life, new business in order to absorb all this increase in population. I believe you are moving in the right track.
Especially that the Egyptians were really only inhabiting the delta. That was just that was about it. But there are just great areas in Egypt that should be really well built, and well, it should be people going there and really you know, building, and well, you know, universities, as is happening well now everywhere, and the link between all cities and Sinai that was ignored for so many years, and the Sinai people also who were ignored. Right now, you know, they have, you know, part of that. They just, you know, they have a say in their own land. How important is that?
I believe, like before President Sisi,
Yeah.
we used really to use only 5% of the Egyptian land, which is thousands of kilometers, and we use only 5% of the total land we have. Now, as we told you before, there is several cities, several new life, especially in Sinai, for example. In Sinai, President Sisi a couple of weeks ago opened 3 universities in Sinai, which is a huge university, and started to operate this semester, this academic year. And of course, with the bridges and tunnels going from the mainland to Sinai, it opened a new life for millions of Egyptians to be making living over there, developing a new business in Sinai. I always say Sinai is the safe haven for economical development in Egypt. Sinai, it's a virgin land, never been used in terms of agriculture, in terms of industry, in terms of it will be the capital of education in the future, where it attracts a lot of people from all over the world in Sinai.
Definitely.
And I believe a lot of investors looking to invest heavily in Sinai.
Definitely.
We
Yeah.
are moving in the right direction, really.
Definitely, and also linking Egypt to Africa. Like it's in Africa, but anyway, like well, having this strong tie again. Especially that Egypt was that last year was the head of the AU, and a lot can be happening and is happening right now with Africa. We're part of them.
Last year, Egypt was the head of the African Union, and President Sisi built a lot of strategic alliance with a lot of African nations during his tenure last year. And I believe when he did the convention for African youth, thousands of African came and introduced their project here in Egypt. I believe we are, our administrative, our leader, build a very supportive communication with most of the African nation. I believe Egypt is part of Africa. Egypt is part of the Arab world. Egypt really take two part as an Arab nation, as a Middle Eastern, and at the same time as an African nation. And building a strategic alliance with a lot of African country, it helped Egypt to grow more and more. And really, with the excess of capacity of electricity, for example, we started to have a new mega project in Africa.
Definitely. Well, talking about that, and well, the ratings of the financial institutions worldwide, especially where everybody is passing through hard times with the COVID-19 repercussions of the closures and all that was really hard time, and still, like other countries are closing again because we don't know with the second wave what's going on. Well, what happened is, what was really good news for Egypt is, Egypt coming out of it. We're yet in the second wave, but, coming out of it in the first one, well, almost unscathed. Well, not like other economies, but it growing up instead of retreating, thank God.
Mm-hmm. Yesterday, the G20 summit really summarized that yesterday, where they have to reschedule. They have a common framework for reschedule all the debts for about 73 countries. Among these 73 countries worldwide, 38 from the sub-Sahara Africa.
Yeah.
I believe Egypt is one of them, where the Paris Club for creditors look ahead for rescheduling the debts for most of the African nation. And the leader of the G20 agreed about rescheduling the debts for this African country. I believe, as I mentioned before in your program, with the first wave of COVID-19, Egypt came in positive side in terms of gross development product. Most of the country around us, they have a negative GDP affected by coronavirus. With the second wave, which already started in the States and in Europe, yeah. A lot of states started, for example, the day after tomorrow, the mayor of New York City, he announced will close the schools and restaurants and bars in New York. In Europe, the same. We didn't have yet the second wave in Egypt, but we are really well prepared in terms of schooling, in terms of university. We'll continue with online learning to provide our student with the type of education they need in the future.
At least, the first time, was like, well, preparatory. Now, I think, we know what's going on and what we could do to preempt the the bad effect of the COVID-19, like if there's any closure or anything like that, or, limiting the students' numbers, that we are still observing the right path.
Remember, it was the first wave. It was a new things for us.
Definitely.
And it took all the world, not only in Egypt, but in capitalist country, for example, in the States and many European country. It was a new experience, and they were not prepared for a crisis like COVID-19.
Yeah.
Thanks God, Pfizer really announced a few days ago where they found out they start to operate in the vaccine, and they start production of the vaccine. And I believe it will be a good news in the near future for Egypt and the rest of the world. Of course, we suffered. We cannot ignore that. We suffered because the tourism industry almost stopped in Egypt. Most of our people who are working in the Gulf, they start to come back in Egypt. So the transfer or the flow of foreign currency from our people who are working outside of Egypt, it became less, and a lot of business get affected by that. But thanks for the good policy where we have a proactive set of mind for the Egyptian government in order to protect the economy from collapse like many other countries in the world.
Yeah, I want to come back to to education again. Are there any closures of universities, or the system will go on?
There is a lot of rumors, and I believe we should really take it from the Minister of Education, Dr. Tariq Shawqi. He's the one is responsible for that, and the fact and the number of cases in schooling and so on. So we shouldn't take really look for rumors and Facebook announcements. There is a lot of rumors going on right now. And for higher education, we should listen to Dr. Khalil Abdel Ghaffar, the Minister of Higher Education. And that's where the source of information we should follow, really. Up to this point of time, there is no increase in case in schooling in university. And really, we have an alternative type of education, which is, we call it as a hybrid education, where a student, for example, in university, they go to university for a couple of days and another 2 days in online, and the same week in, week out in most of the school in Egypt. I believe that is the right way, and in order to protect, for example, President Sisi, his first aim, the health of Egyptian people.
Definitely. Well, things are going, so nothing is stopping. So just the alternative ways, and things are going the way they should be going.
Life goes on.
Definitely.
Life goes on.
Yeah. Well, we've had a lot, actually, of problems in the past, but then now lots of things have been solved, and talking about the traffic, the highways, and all that, and the different, you said, work that has been done, bridges, communicating all Egypt, all the projects taking place, with, again, with all the handicaps that are taking place with the COVID-19 or whatever. How do you foresee the future of Egypt?
We see it now. It's a reality right now. I believe I always tell people, forget about the rumor, forget about the Facebook, but you can see it yourself with the magnificent highway, which is well built all over Egypt, in Ismailia Road, in Suez Road, in Dab'a Road, in Alexandria Road. That is a huge project. And remember, it's not the infrastructure, it is what comes with the infrastructure. When we talk about roads, we talk about community, we talk about business opportunity in both sides of these roads. As we mentioned before, the new cities all over Egypt, which is a huge investment in building a new city, new life, new civil life, and to focus also in building bridges and tunnels to Sinai. We are expanding in all different directions, and I believe the government going in the right direction right now. And as I told you before, most of the people around us, most of the country around us suffered in a negative way from COVID-19. Egypt stand on their feet until now, and will be in the future, inshallah.
Well, actually, also talking about tourism, I think, it will be, a bit late because of the other countries that are closing up again for the second wave of the COVID-19. If like that goes on for a while, God knows, how long we're waiting for the shots, to just, like stop that. But there is also, the tourism that we're waiting for to open up again, where we are observing all kind of hygiene and all kind of regulations in order to be safe and healthy. But also, very important thing is the discovery. We had the discovery of 50 sarcophagi before. Now, the discovery of 100 intact sarcophagi in Saqqara. That is, with the high priests and priestesses and very important people in old Egypt, in ancient Egypt, and with all the glamour. When they opened one of the sarcophagi with the sarcophagus, with all the glamour and the colors and everything there. So I think this, with the coming, we don't know when, should be soon, but after all the second wave and all that, the opening of the GEM, the Great Egyptian Museum, the Grand Egyptian Museum, actually, that is Egypt's gift to the world. So that all, I think, will be incorporated in that and in the different museums that are being built everywhere in Egypt, which is really great news, even for tourism and all the those tourists who would like to come here. And for that, we do have actually a report that we will be bringing you about that. Stay tuned to us, don't go away. We're coming back in a moment.
Egypt announced on Saturday the discovery of an ancient treasure trove of more than 100 intact sarcophagi dating back more than 2,500 years ago, the largest such finding this year. The sealed wooden coffins unveiled on site amid fanfare belong to top officials of the late period and the Ptolemaic period of ancient Egypt. They were found in 3 burial shafts at depths of 12 meters in the sweeping Saqqara necropolis south of Cairo. Archaeologists opened one coffin to reveal a mummy wrapped in a burial shroud adorned with brightly colored hieroglyphic pictorials. Saqqara, home to more than a dozen pyramids, ancient monasteries, and animal burial sites, is a vast necropolis of the ancient Egyptian capital of Memphis, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The huge findings came just over a month after archaeologists in the area found 59 other well-preserved and sealed wooden coffins, also dating back to more than 2,500 years ago. At the unveiling ceremony, Antiquities and Tourism Minister Dr. Khalid Al-Anani said, "Saqqara has yet to reveal all of its contents. It's a treasure," adding that excavations are still underway whenever they emptied a burial shaft of a sarcophagi. More than 40 statues of ancient deities and funerary mosques were also discovered. The sarcophagi will be distributed among several museums in Egypt, including the yet-to-be-opened the Grand Egyptian Museum or GEM at the Giza Plateau. The minister attributed the flurry of discoveries in Saqqara to extensive excavation works in recent years. Another discovery in the vast necropolis is expected to be announced in the coming weeks. Archaeologists also hope to find an ancient workshop for manufacturing wooden coffins for mummies soon.
Amazing discoveries, and Egypt is unveiling its own secrets bit by bit, and more is being revealed actually, which is really wonderful. We'll just see more. We know more now by Egyptian hands, our own Egyptologists, and a lot is coming out. Great news for everybody, actually. Well, you know,
this will increase the number of tourists in the
definitely,
future.
definitely.
Remember, it's not only the problem of Egypt, it's most of the countries. You close out their airport and their travel restriction. And of course, when they really release that, and you will see a huge number of tourists come to Egypt. I was in Luxor a month ago, and in the hotel I was staying here, it was a lot of European people and American people. They were visiting Luxor. Remember, 1/3 of all monument and all the historical and ancient culture, it comes from Egypt, and really we are number one in terms of ancient history, and we really should really focus in our educational, whether in schools and in university. We should talk more about the Egyptian heritage, and that is what President Sisi, they start to go back to Egyptian value system and believe in ourselves and believe in our wealth. And this report, it shows there is more wealth and more discovery. It shows up and will really attract a lot of tourists in the future.
Well, you know, we've got also this piece by the great director Youssef Chahine, may God bless his soul. And he was interviewed by a foreign agency or reporter, and you know, they were telling me you're the third world. He said, "We're not the third world. You are the third world, because
Absolutely.
we've got great past and great civilization of more than 7,000 years. So, who's the third world actually?"
We should really be proud of our heritage. We should be proud of our history. We should be proud of our leadership. It is very important.
Definitely, definitely. Well, you know, talking about leaderships, you know, leaderships of the world are changing very fast, and you know, things are well with the COVID-19, with the different developments taking place, with the wars, you know, everywhere in the world, with terrorist organizations, with all that. With the great upheavals the world is going through, we do have also the American elections and what's going on there, and the repercussions that it can have over the world, economically speaking, definitely, of course, politically and economically speaking. How do you see that?
Of course, you know, and we talk about reality. Biden wins the election. He have about 306 electoral vote, and Trump has only 236, which is with the electoral vote and the public vote, 54% for Biden and 40-something for Trump. Of course, Trump is not conceded until now, and he had a press release yesterday, and he didn't mention he's going to concede for Biden. And I believe that is a game, and they started to say recount the vote in certain states like Georgia, for example, especially with the election in the states, also the Congress election, which during Trump regime, the Senate was controlled by Republic.
Yes.
And now it's 48-48. There is only 2 seats remaining in Georgia. That's why they called for hand recount for Egyptian vote for the presidency. in order to really pick these 2 seats. And they have re-election in January 5th, so they try to delay the concession of from Trump in order to really force to take these 2 seats, so the Republic will take the majority again in the Senate. I believe the Democrat, they have the House, and I believe they will have the Senate and the presidency of Biden, which it really it give him the power to really deliver his agenda in the next 2 years. Remember, after 2 years, there is also have election for the House and for the Senate. I believe it have a very negative impact right now for the concession of Trump not to concede for Biden. It delays the process. It delay where they really hold all the intelligence information for Biden to really make his staff and make his government. The delay is not really is good news for the American people, and it really affects the international arena, of course. For example, China, Russia, and the rest of the world, they don't know what will happen until now. But in January 20, Biden will be the president of the United States, and we have to really strong relationship. The Egyptian-American policy, it have a very positive effect, no matter what the president is. Remember, the states, they go for policy, and whether we have Democratic president or Republican president, it doesn't really matter. We have the best relationship with the states when Jimmy Carter was the president of the states, and we did the peace treaty with Sadat when and Carter was a Democratic president, and he loves Egypt, of course.
Definitely. Well, also we had our own elections here with the Senate, and or let's say, you know, our own elections. So how do you see our elections right now, well, paving the way for more development?
I believe I saw a lot of youth in this election, a lot of young people. They are really a lot of youth as a candidate, and a lot of them win the election. For example, a couple of weeks it was in Giza, last week was in Cairo, and many other states. And I believe the new House of Representatives will see a new faces, not the old faces, and all of them going with the direction of Egypt Vision 2030.
Definitely.
And that's a good news.
Yeah, and also training our youth of the political life, because, you know, we for a long time we did not really have that, but now there is more. There's, you know, the different parties. Some are just, you know, weak, some are stronger, and they're learning their way. They're just learning political life and how to be politicians, how to be as youth and others, of course, and women empowerment and all that is taking place. Like lots of changes in political life.
Absolutely, and really there is a lot of program right now. I'm involved in one of them where we train over 50,000 of young men and women in order to take the lead in the future, in order to apply governance in our municipal, in our ministry, and so on, where we have to prepare and train people for the second level and third level. The government is doing a great job on that, and really finally we start to believe in how to manage. Management is very important factor for the success of economical system and for the sustainability of building new business and new government and so on. So governance is the rule of management, is how to manage our public sector and the private sector and so on. And we train a lot of people, over 50,000. And President Sisi really focused on that. To have somebody taking a position, he have to take certain level of training in terms of managerial governance and political environment, the culture itself, and so on, with highly educated people to hold a position in the future. That is must for the sustainability of government in the future. And that is really a good news. And it's already started like a couple of years ago, and to continue in that direction.
Well, a lot has been happening actually that, like should be starting. It started and, in all domains actually there is like changes and development that should be going on, and we'll reap our, the fruits, soon. Also taking care of the individual. They just, criticize and say, well, the schools and universities, and the biggest university in the Middle East is being built, and it has, other, universities everywhere in the Republic actually, in different places, I mean. And of course, also we do have in the health, the sector, like a lot has been happening everywhere. A lot has been happening actually, and a lot of development and building. What else do we need here? The state actually is working very hard on that. What else do we need? Not only the government is working, the public sector, the private sector also is taking part. They should be shouldering a great responsibility, since, the public sector cannot be shouldering all the responsibility alone.
I always say you can't clap with one hand. You need two hands to clap, for example. And building alliance between public and private sector in Egypt, it's must. And here we talk about the social responsibility of private business, which is a lot of mega business here and business people, and they share responsibility with the government in order to really look for the future of Egypt. It's not only the government role or the public sector role, but also the private sector. You can't not build the economy depending on public sector only, but you have to be hand with hand with the private sector. I believe that's very important, and there is a lot of private sector now participate in the mega project of Egypt. Also, we shouldn't really ignore the importance of attracting foreign direct investment to Egypt, and really we should really look for the management perspective of how to attract foreign direct investment to invest in Egypt. There is a lot of opportunity in Egypt. There is a lot of good news in business in Egypt. Egypt, they have over 100 million population. Egypt have a lot of natural resources in Egypt, in our economy, and you should really maximize on that in the future. So enhancing the private sector, building alliance with the private sector is very important, public and the private sector. Attracting foreign direct investment, it's must, and we have to really, we really introduce all the means to attract foreign direct investment. For infrastructure, we have it now. For capacity building, we have it now. For electricity, we have excess capacity in terms of electricity right now. And what we really need is to simplify the process of bringing foreign direct investment to Egypt. We cannot do it by ourselves, but by building a strategic alliance with a country like China and many other countries around the world, I believe the unemployment will go down, the inflation will go down, and we'll have a lot of prosperity and stability for the Egyptian economy in the future. I'm really optimistic about that, and I believe in a couple of years you will see different Egypt with all different projects going around us right now. As we mentioned before, the new capital, administrative capital in Egypt, and many new city, and the tens of new university all over Egypt. For example, in Sinai, President Sisi opened last week 3 universities, and Galala, they have a university. In Mansoura, they have a new university. In Asyut, they have a new university. In many different parts.
Branches everywhere.
And as President Sisi, he mentioned that, and he made it clear, we have 100 million. We should have a university for each million. So instead of having like 37 university right now or 47 university. We should have 100 university in the future. It will be 200 and so on.
Definitely. Well, we don't have much time, but well, it shows, for example, for sports right now, we do have our young sports people having golden medals and all that, and reaping. It's like different than before, and going to well, the lead. Also, we should really focus also on our new young inventors and innovators, and that's very important. Your son is one of them, actually. The young people who are really our future.
Most of our kids right now, they don't really, they look forward for startup business and
Yes.
for innovative idea, creative idea. And the government should really stand behind our kids, our youth, in order to encourage them. I believe the Ministry of Investment, they have really a program to adapt any young man who have an idea. They have the financial support and the consultation support, the marketing support for their idea in order to have it as a reality in real life business. I believe we should really work on that, support our kids, and
instead of them being stolen by other countries.
Absolutely. The mentality is different, and we have a very smart people, and I'm working in the university and I'm dealing with youth all the time, whether it's undergraduate or graduate through master and PhD. We have a very, very smart people. Our students, they are very smart, and we have to really support them in a very positive way in order to stand on their feet in the future.
Well, we have no time, but a final word.
I believe youth, it is the wealth of Egypt, and we should really invest in people. It's human capital. It's very important.
Definitely. Well, Dr. Sayyid Khouli, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure having you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And always a pleasure having also our viewers. So as we always end, God bless Egypt, God bless Egyptians, God bless our president, God bless our army, our police, our white army. And as we quote from the Holy Quran, ادخلوها بسلام إن شاء الله آمنين. Enter Egypt, God willing, safe, and Mubarak شعبي مصر. Blessed be Egypt, my people, from the Holy Bible. I'm Nermin Nazim signing off. We'll see you again next week. God bless you all.